All right, guys, welcome back to the 14th episode of the Untold Gems Podcast. Today we have our very first guest. His name is Bird Real Estate. I'll let you introduce yourself, so take it away.
Hey, nice. Yeah, so I'm Bird real estate investor, born and raised in Montreal. Started entrepreneurship pretty early and then fell into real estate investing, Airbnb, did a bit of everything. On the business side, on the garage, on the restaurant, did a little bit of FBA.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Oh,
Damn,
yeah,
no
you did
way.
FBA. Cool,
yeah.
cool,
So
cool.
I did a
No
lot,
way!
but full time real estate investor now, and that's what I do all day. You know, real estate is my number one thing.
That's
Nice.
fire, bro. So for the people that don't know you, like me, I don't know you, but Charl and Sasha do. So how did you guys come across Bird?
Twitter.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
IG man,
yeah.
Yeah,
power and internet. Man.
Charles.
basically Twitter.
Yeah, for a long time
Okay.
ago too.
Yeah, a very long time ago, yeah. Before Montreal Twitter was even a thing. Sorry,
Yeah.
before like money Twitter was a thing.
Facts.
Throwback to Montreal Twitter,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So how do you feel on social media? Like, do you like using social media? Are you good with it? Do you have a page that's like heavy, or
Yeah, I
is it
mean,
just slowly building?
both pages are Bird Real Estate. Twitter and Instagram are probably the two that I use the most. I'm trying to do the TikTok thing, but I might be a little old for that, so it's like overwhelming and shit.
literally me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
Facts.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 29, just turned 29 like 2 weeks ago.
29. Jeez. Happy belated.
Yeah, happy
Thanks.
belated birthday.
Happy belated, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we had made a Q&A on socials, right? We got a couple of questions, but did you guys want to start with that, or should we end with the Q&A?
Let's do the segment at the end. We'll do a Q&A segment at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's start with maybe just hearing a little bit about what first introduced you into real estate? Like, what's the first thing that got you into real estate? Like, how did that kind of start out?
Yeah. First thing, the really first memory for me was like 10, 11 years old. Like I was born kind of like in the projects, and my parents bought their first house. It was a duplex. And then, like your whole quality of life changes from living in the projects to living in the house. You have your own backyard and stuff like that. And then we had 2 tenants. So, I would always see them paying in cash. And I was like, oh, shit, you can actually make money from this. And that was like my earliest memory, just seeing the quality of life upgrade and then seeing that people were actually paying. You could actually own something and people pay you for it. That was my first introduction.
Damn, shout out to your parents. So we have to take
Yeah,
it
they
back to
killed
the
it.
to the parents then, because a lot of
Yeah.
parents, a lot of immigrant parents, like mine, for example, didn't buy any land or couldn't buy any land when they got here. So shout out to your parents first and
Definitely,
foremost,
for
and then
sure.
I'm sure you've had those conversations with them as well. So in terms of how they figured out how to do that, were they living here before, or?
No, I'm Haitian, so they immigrated and everything. I was born here, but we were kind of poor when I was a kid, so they did really
Yeah.
good, saved their money. My dad was like a cab driver, so in Montreal you own your license, so you can also leverage
Yeah.
it. You can borrow against it, kind of like real estate. So that's what he
Yeah.
did.
No way.
Yeah, you can borrow against
Yeah.
cab
So
driver license, and then he borrowed against it to buy the real estate, and then the real estate appreciated. So he did a good move there, and he bought at a pretty good time. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And on this show, we talk a lot about knowledge, the value of knowledge, having the information. How did they get access to that information? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think my dad was telling me a story that when we were kids, there was that one apartment building that we lived at because we moved a couple of times, and it was an Indian guy who owned it in Park X, and my dad asked him like, how do you do it? And I think he's the guy who told my dad like, you can leverage stuff, you can borrow with your credit and just use that as a down payment. And back early 2000, it wasn't all the rules that there is today. Like it was much more easier. Like
yeah.
just borrow money left and right and then use it as a down payment. It wasn't that much verifications. So that's what he did, and he was able to do it. So I think that's where his knowledge came from for sure.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that's
like,
crazy.
Yeah.
go, Charles.
And I think a lot of my friends, especially if you're coming from like a African American or just a Haitian background, like early 2000, from like 2001 to 2005, a lot of time that people bought their first homes,
Yeah.
but during that time it was the dot-com bubble, so it was a very, very, we'll say, tough time financially for a lot of people. But I think that too, a lot of people were able to use those homes to build equity, and essentially right now they appreciate it a lot.
Yeah,
So
that's it. And
if you are listening to this and your parents bought in '05, do not sell your grandma, do not sell your parents home, because that's where the money is, and that's your retirement plan potential.
yeah. And it was a good time because the property, I think it doubled in value in like 4 or 5 years, probably in less,
Wow.
because they bought it so cheap around the .com era, and then 2 years later the market was back and it doubled. So it's a pretty amazing timing. Sometimes there's a lot of luck involved in some of the things we do. So that was a
Yeah, that's fire.
yeah.
Also, yeah, we speak about the value of the information because maybe if he hadn't spoken to that person, he would have never known about it. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
crazy
definitely.
to know it can. It usually
For sure.
comes from not a mentor, but someone. Like you have to learn that from someone because it's
Yeah.
not taught.
Yeah. It's like either somebody's gonna tell you or you're gonna experience it. Just trying stuff.
Literally, that's it.
Yeah, fine.
That's it.
I also want to piggyback because I know that, especially being a real estate investor, everybody has their own thesis. I want to know what's your investment thesis and what are the things you look at specifically in a long-term asset.
Man, that's a good question. I was just on Twitter talking about it. I got a couple people mad actually. But,
No way.
yeah, we'll go check that out. I think people were pissed a little bit. But the first thing that I always look at is demographics. I like to know, when I invest in somewhere, I want to know everybody's age, the average age, if they're married, how many kids they have, what type of professions they do. The second thing that I also look at is kind of the area. I always want an area that's on the rise. I'm not looking to invest in no established area or an area that's too poor where it's not going to come up. I really want to be in the middle where there's a lot of things happening, a lot of businesses moving in, a lot of new construction and stuff like that. I like those. And I think the last thing is just I like unit breakdown, so just the potential of how I can improve the building. I'm always looking for kind of building that needs renovation, that needs a lot of love, and that can be modified and I can add value to. So those are kind of the main things that I look at.
That's basically the same as Charl, no?
Yeah,
That's pretty much the same as what Charl
Yeah.
usually says.
Right.
Yeah, well, we're a value add real estate
Yeah.
investment, and that's when you make your money. People want to buy the bougie neighborhoods. Give me the ghetto, give me the drug addicts,
Yep.
and at the end of the day, I'll tell you this, especially in Montreal, if you see a bike lane painted, you just double your value.
Yeah, exactly,
Because
man. Montreal is
Oh, yeah.
that's where the money is.
Yep, definitely. Value add investor all the way. Fastest way to grow.
Fact.
That's the BRRR strategy, right? Or,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the bird.
Yeah, the Burr strategy, the Burr method for sure.
So can I ask how many properties you have?
Yeah, so right now three properties, 17 apartments.
Congrats, bro, that's
Wow.
fire.
Yeah,
That's
fire.
crazy.
Big,
Yeah, thanks. It's
Shout
it's on the smaller side for me, but I have one of my first buildings is on sale right now. It's actually looking at an offer today, and maybe the next one is probably going to be 20. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll get into the 30s, 30 apartments.
Wow.
Do you
Are they all
also
in
have-
Montreal?
Yeah, all in Montreal and all within a very, very small area too. One thing that I always talk about is you want to have extreme knowledge of the areas you're investing in. So all of my buildings are within walking distance of the Olympic Stadium.
Oh, smart.
Yeah,
Damn,
And it's a
that's-
nice area.
That's insane.
yeah, it's a pretty good
Yeah.
area. It's changing pretty fast.
gentrification is heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And you also have Airbnbs too? Because I know that you have real estate outside of Canada too, no?
Yeah. So I
Maybe
did.
I'm wrong.
I mean, I no longer because I flipped a lot of them. So all the stuff that I had in the US, I flipped. They were smaller properties. I try to always keep 6 units and up, and I flip whatever is under 6 units. But Airbnb, I had a lot of Airbnbs before COVID, and what I did is I kind of converted into long-term tenants because, first of all, a lot of people were looking for apartments at that time. It was kind of like an apartment crisis, so the prices
literally.
for rent were crazy. So I took advantage of
yeah.
that, and also, after COVID, the laws and everything, the travel was restricted, so I knew that could probably impact me negatively. So I was really proactive about that. Yeah.
And
Question.
sorry,
Yeah,
go.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, the properties that you had in the U.S., what is it hard to buy properties outside of Canada?
No, it's super easy. It's actually probably harder to buy in Canada than in the US.
No way.
Everything is much easier in the US because in the US all you have to do is have they have so many banks, so many different ways, so much knowledge on the financial world and stuff like that. So you just create an LLC. Like anybody who wants to invest in the US, all you do is you create an LLC. You get two tax number. You get one tax number for your company and one tax number for the individual. It's called the ITIN, ITIN, and the EIN for the company. And then you're good to go. You're ready to go. You get a down payment, and pretty much that's it. And also, if you're Canadian, they have cross-border banking. So TD and RBC, you can actually use your Canadian credit to buy in the US, and they make it easy with the banks and stuff.
So for people who don't have enough money to buy in Montreal or in Canada in general, if you're able to buy in places like Cleveland, Dallas, where the square footage is a lot bigger and you have a lot for your bank, look for these deals. And a lot of banks have foreclosure offerings, so you could just buy them.
Yeah.
And then you'll have potentially 60% off, 40% off. So there's a lot of opportunities coming, and there'll be more as the crisis continues.
Yeah, Cleveland is a very good market. That's a good suggestion. Cleveland, and I would say Memphis also. Memphis is pretty good, very affordable. Those are two good ones. If you don't have enough money to buy it in Montreal, you can definitely buy it.
Do you set yourself goals in terms of, I've heard some people say, I think Charl said he wants to buy a property a year. I heard some people say they want to buy 2 properties a year. Do you set yourself goals like that?
Not really. Not really yet, because the way that I do it is I kind of take advantage of the market cycles. So I try to see where the market is, and then, kind of react to it sometimes, or be proactive when I know where the market is going. So sometimes, like during COVID, the properties were super, super expensive. I still bought one because I found a really good deal. But, sometimes it's hard to predict if it's a good area, like it's a good time to buy or a bad time to buy, or if I can refi or sell. Because at the time, all my properties are kind of like just me, right? So I kind of have to sell or refi one of my properties to buy another one. So it's kind of hard to do it every single year and stuff like that. But I'm trying to find good opportunities. And whenever I find one, I go hard on it.
And in terms of, let's say for someone right now who's making $50K a year on average, something like that, what would be your advice to people? Like, how can you get a loan from a bank, or what kind of loan can you get making $50K a year with a good credit score?
If you have $50K with a good credit score, I would say look into a duplex. Look into a duplex in like some in a cheaper area, maybe outside the city and something like that. And with the rental income that you're getting from the duplex, that will kind of add on top of your income, so they can qualify you much easier. You know? The second thing is, like, if you can get a cosigner, get your parents to cosign, get your sister or brother to cosign, anything just to get the loan, right? And then you can operate as you want. You can have your own side agreement with the people that cosign, and just say, like, you're co-signing with me, but you own 1% or 10%, 5%, whatever it is that whatever your arrangement is with that person, right? So those are ways that you can.
Yeah, that's smart.
You can do it. But like, just be creative. There's always a way to do it.
My whole blueprint.
There's always a way to do it, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He just gave away my whole blueprint, because at the end of the day, if I was able to get qualified making $30,000 working part-time,
and the thing is,
that's crazy.
The revenue you make, adds on to your salary.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, it's just finding a mortgage broker who can negotiate for you. I tell people all this: if you don't have a mortgage broker, you're leaving money on the table.
Sure.
And as well, you have to leverage your credit. If you have under 640, you're not getting a loan. You need to have minimum 710, 720. So if you don't have credit above 700, don't even apply, because it's only going to put an inquiry on your account, and it's not going to be good for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say last advice is, like, buy as soon as possible. Don't let anything stop you from buying, because, like, a lot of people are making $50K and they're like, oh, I'm not in position to buy. But the thing is, like, if you're making $50K and the market is getting more expensive every year, it's the goal of ownership is only slipping away from your hands every single year that you're waiting. It's like the market grows faster than your salary every time. So if you're waiting, then it's just harder and harder to buy. So you have to figure out how to do it today as soon as possible.
Bar.
That's facts. So what was your first experience like? I'm sure your father was there to help you, but how did you get into your first property?
Man, so I wouldn't say not really. Your parents didn't help that much. They helped for, like, the signing stuff. But we have super different investment thesis. So they're not looking to invest and grow. They kind of look at it as as a side thing, or I look at it as a, we can make
Oh, I
millions off
see.
of this. So we have super different
Yeah.
mentalities. So it's very hard to do stuff with them. But I would say first experience investing, it was pretty good. I did some mistakes, but I was happy with my purchase as a first purchase. And what I say to people is like, when you jump in, that's when you learn the most. Like, there's no books that will give you the experience that buying a building will give you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same with anything, with starting a business, with anything.
Yeah.
It's the experience and taking action that you'll learn the most from.
Exactly. So all mistakes, all the L's are kind of lessons too.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
And like, because like I said,
What?
I don't really know you. Do you have like a job, or is this what you mainly do?
No, that's what I mainly do. So I have
Damn.
this, and I have a company in the States also, like looking for properties and flipping contracts, if anybody know what that is. And
Okay. Okay, cool. So, do you Airbnb all of your properties or just some of them?
No, so now I no longer have Airbnb, but what I used to do is I used to have
okay.
like partial Airbnb in buildings. So let's say I had a building that was 8 unit. Best example was like my 5 unit. I had 2 Airbnbs in the building out of 5, and then the rest was regular tenants. So my strategy was kind of like the regular tenants. They kind of pay for the expenses, the recurring expenses. It's stable. That's taken care of. And then the Airbnb is just straight profit. So that's kind of like my way to look at it. The bank always want to see a certain stability. Airbnb was pretty new, so they're not going to take your Airbnb income to consider the value of the property. So I always wanted to make sure I had like those rents there, just to make the bank and the investment feel safer. And then at the same time, I want the upside of Airbnb, right? So I balance it that way.
Did you ever have any
Yeah. So
Airbnbs
if
that were like outside of the city?
Yeah.
Like if someone wanted to start Airbnb, would you recommend that they get something in the city? Or did you ever have, because you're saying that they were like apartment buildings, was it common that people would book in an apartment building? Like that was in the
I was
suburbs?
always super booked. I was in the city, but it was always super booked. I never did it outside the city. I know a lot of people have like country houses and stuff like that, and that works really, really, really well. So if people want to do that, that's a pretty good avenue. But all my Airbnbs were in the city. I had one in New York City also.
Okay, nice.
So I was.
Oh, that must have been crazy.
Yeah, that was super nice. That was really nice.
How do you manage tenants that are in the U.S.? Because I'm very new to this.
Yeah, it's property management, really. It's property management. When it's small buildings, you can have friends easily. Like every time I go to a city, I try to make as many connections as possible. And you can always have people, like they're pretty small buildings, so you can always have people kind of like check on it for you. Then when it gets bigger, out of hand, you just get a property manager.
A property manager.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So for someone who's looking to get into Airbnb as their primary business, what would be the advice you would give them from a business plan or just a synopsis of how to start and how to scale long term?
For sure, I would say like the first thing I would do is, and I did it before too, is you should, if you want to start today, just rent an apartment and do Airbnb in it. And make sure you're okay with the owner. Maybe you have to pay them a little bit more. But if you can rent an apartment for, $1,500, depending on the city you're at, maybe $2,000, and you give your first and last month or deposit or whatever you have to give, $4,000, you furnish the spot, and you can get started pretty much with like $6,000 to $8,000, which is a pretty good side hustle. And then with the revenue from that one, you can pretty much start with that same model and scale pretty fast. And that can give you the money to buy your first property. Because if you're waiting to buy, then it might take too long. But you can start making money today just by renting an apartment and then releasing it on Airbnb.
Charl, you don't do Airbnb, yeah? Yet?
No, my next play.
Not yet.
Converting my triplex into a fourplex, and then I have an Airbnb that unit. So hopefully that gets done this year or next year. But that's the goal. Because essentially what Bert said is that, especially in real estate, it has to be so predictable that you don't have any expenses. But when it gets too predictable, your margin of error gets them down, so you don't have the profit that you want to scale up faster. So the Airbnb model provides you good month by month, but at least you're able to take that money and roll it over to add to your property or just scale up to buy other properties.
Exactly.
So I think it's a wonderful idea, or even just the Airbnb arbitrage. I think that's especially Montreal or big cities where there's going to be a lot of new condo development, especially along the highway. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to potentially look into arbitrage and look to scale that way. Even if you don't make money or profit, at least make money to cover your rent somewhere else
Yeah.
or pay for your home. If you are able to do that, I think that's a great alternative.
Yep, that's a win. Definitely a win.
You
Do you
don't find
have-
that most landlords like they wouldn't like most landlords that I've seen they like sometimes they'll write in like in their lease that you can't do Airbnb.
Yeah.
And so you said like sometimes you can try to like negotiate with them and like give them last month's rent. But like have you been very like have you found success with that, or do you find a lot of them don't want to do that?
Yeah, I found success with it. I think it's just the way that you approach it. You can always negotiate with them, and if you pay them a little bit more money, like one thing.
I'm sure they'd be down, yeah.
Yeah, one tip that I'll give you is that in commercial buildings or like multifamily buildings, big multifamily buildings, the income of the property is how they value the property, right? So if you have an owner who understands this, you can tell them, hey, if your apartments would rent normally for $1,500 and I'm renting from you from $1,800, depending on the area you're in, that $300 extra rent can increase the value of your building by $200,
Yeah,
$300, $400,000.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, so if you
Okay, so it's beneficial for them anyways.
it's super beneficial for them. It's like, I'll give you an example. Like
Yeah.
in Montreal, the multiplier is 20. So basically, it's like for every dollar of rent you get, the value of the building is like 20 times that. So if you get $300 more on an apartment, you multiply that by 12, which is like 3,600, and you multiply 3,600 by 20. That's the value that person just gained on their property. So if you're able to know these things and negotiate that with the landlord, and you know your numbers, and you're like, on top of that, you know that you're going to get paid, and I'm going to take care of it because the property needs to be cleaned every single day for me to be able to rent it out.
Yeah.
There cannot be any broken walls. There cannot be anything broken. So you know that the property will be taken care of because I make money out of it. So you tell these two things to the landlord, and most of the time, if they're very smart, they'll be receptive to it.
Yeah, they'll take it. Yeah, that's a really smart model, like especially for people who don't feel ready to buy or whatever. It's a really smart like business model that you can do. Just like all you need to do is get approved to rent, So and it's much easier.
Yeah.
So you get approved to rent and then you rent it out to someone else and make them pay more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You-
basically.
You pay for the month and they pay by the day. So
And they pay by the day.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And especially, I know we're in Montreal, but especially people in Gatineau, what they do is that they find people who work, who want to work in an apartment for 15 days, they rent out half the month. Essentially covers half the month, and then for the rest of the month, you just do your little daily thing. So if you're able to get, we call it like a short-term, long-term tenant, especially like 2 months, 6 months, those are the best types. So travel nurses, hospitality businesses, those are all industries where you want to stay connected to because you can always slip somebody in and they cover your expenses. The government gives them money also to find houses.
That's
so smart.
That's a really smart way to do it. And I know that a lot of people also do it in condos. Like let's say in Florida, there's a lot of condos where they'll tell you can Airbnb but only like one tenant a month or like this many times per year. Then you can do that strategy easily, where you get one person who's going to stay there for 2 months at a time. They'll pay you double what you pay in rent. And you have like 6 tenants in the year. You don't have to go clean every day. You don't have to have a cleaning crew and stuff like that. It's a lot less management, and you make profits.
Yeah, and there's like less likely to be parties and like people damaging it and stuff.
Yeah,
that's really smart.
Yeah, super smart stuff.
Can you quickly talk about how many things you tried before getting into what you found success in? Because I think that's important for a lot of people. People think that they see you and they think, oh, it was given to him, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or people will always make excuses. Like, how many things that you said you tried Amazon FBA and a few other things. So talk a bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So, it started with the job like everybody else. I was flipping phones. I was flipping shoes like Jordans before, like the StockX and everything came about.
Okay.
I bought a garage. I bought a car garage with one of my friends. It caught on fire before we even bought it. And then we had to, it was the craziest story.
What the hell?
Yeah, it caught on fire, and we were kind of like negotiating the price. And during the negotiations, it caught on fire. The guy who was selling it to us was in a coma for like 15 days. And then we still,
what the hell?
We still bought it, and then we spent days cleaning, all the burnt stuff and stuff like that. And it didn't end up being that successful, but super big learning experience. Did an Amazon FBA also for a little while, and then I got my listing stolen. You guys are FBA, so you know kind of like how that happens.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
having your copyright set up properly and stuff like that.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, I tried a lot of different businesses. Some worked, some didn't, but overall, super good learning experience.
Yeah, because we speak a lot about the mindset that it takes to do something on your own completely, and like what do you say like are 3 characteristics that people need to have in order to do something like you're doing?
I would say like creativity. The first one, I would say being disciplined, and like discipline in terms of like hardworking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I would say kind of wanting it, like being hungry for it. It's like there's days that you don't want to do it, but if your motivation is high and if you really have a hunger for it, or even you can replace hunger with passion. If you have a lot of passion for it, then you'll be able to push through on those days you don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm really interested in like obsession. Did you ever find yourself obsessed with this compared to where others with other methods or other things you tried? Could you see a difference now looking back in terms of how you started with this and how you started with other things, or does that not resonate with you?
Obsessed, yeah, obsessed definitely resonates because people who know me know I talk about business like all day, every day. If you sit with me for an hour, it's impossible that you sit with me for an hour and I don't mention business or money. It's absolutely impossible. I don't care if we're in the club, it's going to come through. So it's definitely obsessed is a good word to describe it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And did you always know that you
I have a quick
were
question.
gonna be like, or like, did you always know that you wanted to have a business or like be self-employed? Like, was that always something you wanted?
Yeah. Since I was 9 years old, I told my mom that's what I was going to do.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. Like from a very young age, I was like, I really want to own something of my own,
Yeah.
So I can relate to that too.
Yeah. I think it's like we're kind of lucky because we're all kind of young and we figured it out.
Yeah.
And I think we're lucky that we knew what we wanted to do and then we did it, right? So
Yeah, and I think it comes with trying different things. Like I feel like if you didn't try so many different things, you wouldn't have necessarily maybe found or figured out or ended up in the path that you're in today. So I think that's important. Like if you're somebody that just doesn't really know what you want to do, or you want to start a business or something, just go try literally everything and eventually something will stick,
Yeah, that's what I tell. Like my brother, I was speaking to him and I told him the same thing. It's like you want to try as many things as possible. It's going to tell you like what you need to do and it gives you a lot of learning experience. And then you're able to figure it out. It's kind of like it's trial and error, really.
No, but I want to talk
100%.
about like if you had to put yourself in like bird like at 21 with the information that you know right now, what are some things that you would do differently to be able to scale up faster, or would you do the same?
Damn.
Yeah, would you leave it
That's
the
a
same
good
way?
question.
Oh, I would buy and save a lot more. I would save and invest like people who know me from before know that I spent a lot of money doing. I always loved cars. At 18, I had an expensive car. At 21, I bought a Mercedes. I did all kinds of stupid stuff with money. And if I could go back, the first thing I would have done is not spend on anything except save and invest. Like you don't even need money at 21 if we're being really honest.
Yeah, you really don't.
Like all the money you think about like you spent at 21 was all useless stuff. All of it.
Facts.
So it's just like I would invest in as much as I can, like every penny.
Perfect. And
Do you invest
I
in
wish I could
stocks
go
at all,
back.
or is it mainly crypto?
I do stocks
Mainly
too.
real estate.
Yeah, I do a little bit of stocks, but with stocks I don't have that much knowledge. So I mean I know like I follow it a lot. So what I do is when I find a really good opportunity, I buy as much as I can in that moment and I just let it sit. I don't touch it. I don't have the app on my phone. I don't look at it.
Yeah.
I just buy it and forget about it.
Buy and
Yeah.
hold long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best strategy.
you'll need to
Me too.
be
Yeah.
And crypto?
Yeah, crypto's same thing. So like now I have to look into buying. Like it dipped. I see now it's
Ethereum was
coming
up.
back up. So
It's coming back up a
Yeah.
bit, yeah.
yeah, I think today it was like up 8%, like overall a lot of the main ones. So pretty good.
I think since it went down, since everything, like it's gone up
Yeah.
60% or something
in the last
since
month.
it crashed. Already, yeah.
Wow.
Because it was Because it was at 1.2 or yeah, and now it's at 2K or something.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You guys are like
Yeah,
crypto
you
too?
have no choice.
A little.
Yeah.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I'll say this because I'm that
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I want to buy a house in the Caribbean. They're gonna accept. They're gonna do crypto mortgages, and it's already happening in the Bahamas. So if you're able to have a lot of crypto,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be able to qualify, and that's
Oh,
that's my
nice.
goal. Like if I'm able to just buy
Yeah.
a crypto house, etc., we'll say that. And the best part about it doesn't go on your personal tax, but it doesn't go on your taxes.
Yeah.
Well, it does, but it doesn't go as if I would the bank.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming. It's already in place in
Yeah.
Florida. There's already a startup doing that in Florida actually. I have to find. I can't
No
remember the name
way.
off top, but it's already happening. Like,
But-
Miami has
Yeah.
a lot of people from like Latin America, and with their taxes situations and the money and the currency and all that, it's kind of like hard for them to qualify. So there's already startups like taking crypto for the purchases in Miami. So it's coming, bro, for sure.
But it's already here too. Like Charl, you sent me I checked it out. I looked into it.
Yeah.
There's this
Sky Blue.
project in Mirabel that's happening right now that
Yeah,
started
Sky
to
Blue.
accept crypto,
Man,
Sky Blue.
Wow.
So I'm looking into that right now because I think for me that's gonna be the way of buying. Like as self-employed people, we've talked about it. They give us a bit of a harder time
Yeah.
to get approved for a mortgage. So I think with crypto it'd be super
episode
easy.
4.
and-
yeah,
Episode
that's
4,
dope.
go back because
Really good
at the end of
stuff.
the day, we're only in 2022.
Yeah,
Only
okay,
2022,
nice.
and it's only gonna go
Yeah,
and scale faster. At the end of the day, like Bert said, if you don't know where to go, if you don't know where to invest, buy the top ones. Don't look at it. Don't look at your app. Don't go on Twitter. Let it sit. Add when you have opportunities, and the rest will figure
Yeah.
itself out.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a follow-up
Good
question.
stuff.
In terms of long term, like what's next? I know like you want to scale, but if you look at yourself at 55 years old, what's the end goal? Or at 65? Untold
Man,
Gems.
that's a really good question. As much real estate as possible. Like I think for me, like the big dream that I don't speak about often, but the big dream is like developing stuff would be really cool. And like I love hotels too, like designing hotels and stuff like that. Like creating that experience where you have like you can handle everything from start to finish would be like super super cool. I'm really into architecture and design and stuff like that. Explore the creative side of the real estate. So like developing and hotels, and then like 65, I see myself like owning thousands and thousands of apartments. Like probably even
Yo,
maybe
let's go.
managing
Let's go.
a REIT.
We'll
That would be super cool.
We'll talk, cause Meg gave
Yeah.
my whole retirement plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Charles, you too is the same thing. It's not
Like, my
hotels,
goal
but
is
you've talked
be
to us
a
about the
developer.
same
Like, I wanna
exact
have
thing,
a
basically.
parcel
Yeah,
land,
literally.
start to finish, and like I'm not sure if it's luxury chalets. I'm not sure if it's a hotel chain. I'm not sure what it is, but I want to do one big project that sets you up, and you see like, look, Dad, my father did this, and then like for me, if I could do that, then it'll be all worth it.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. That's how
Yeah.
you live your print on the world, right? That
Yeah,
building is gonna
yeah.
be standing there for like hundreds of years, right? It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
crazy.
special.
there you go, Chris.
Do you have
Guys,
any like?
You sleeping?
I need to get into real estate now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to find a way, Sasha. For real.
I know.
But me too. Right now, like the whole situation.
But like you were
right?
saying, being self-employed makes it really, really hard to like
There's always a
qualify
way.
for anything. Yeah, facts. That's
yeah.
true.
There's always a way. And just hit me up if you're looking for like specific ways. I got you all day. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds
But
good.
since we're talking about that, do you have any like tips for self-employed people or like?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing. Like, since you're self-employed as well, like, what has been your experience with buying while being self-employed? / do you have any tips for us?
Yeah, I mean it's different for me because now I'm kind of like commercial loans, so it's
Yeah,
6
big
and up,
boys.
you're getting commercial
Oh,
Okay.
true.
like that. So it's like
That's
yeah,
not-
it's like,
Yeah, the big boys.
Yeah.
You look at your net worth and the amount of revenue your building generates, and then you kind of have the experience.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier for me now. But if you're getting started, I would say as a self-employed person, I was doing mortgages at the bank too. So before, so I would say the first thing is you want to make sure that the way you pay yourself is like very regular, and that it's always like in your bank account and traceable. That's the best way. Like if you pay yourself like with dividends or draws, however you pay yourself, like make sure, let's say you have a date, like every 15, I'm gonna pay myself this amount, like super fixed, right? And make sure it's an amount that works with the type of property you want to acquire. That's probably the absolute best way to do it. Like when you're organized and you have that like fixed pay that kind of shows like almost like an employee type of stuff. You show the bank that stability, and that's what they want.
Yeah, the bank wants stability. That's it. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
They make it so hard for us.
They do.
But yeah, with like business owners and stuff, you want to obviously pay less taxes, so you have more expenses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's hard balancing or deciding, okay, what income am I actually going to declare? Because
exactly. And there, another tip too is that there's a couple banks that will use your financial statements, like your business statements, to qualify you. So as Charles said, like a good mortgage broker who knows these things, like there's a couple mortgage brokers that will specialize in specifically like self-employed people. Like they can guide you through that. Like if I remember correctly, I think BMO will let you buy like a duplex or triplex like on a business name. So you can use your actual business and the financial statement of your business
personal
and then co-sign it as like as yourself.
Guarantee.
You co-sign your business.
Okay.
And then you use your financial statement. So that's another good way for self-employed people to.
Yeah, that's really good advice. That's a really good idea. I would have never even known that was possible.
Having the guarantee your property or your car, this and that. At the end of the day, it holds you back, but it holds you back from buying. So is it a risk? Yes, but at the end of the day, if you do your analysis like Britt said, make sure you have tenants who are punctual with their payments, who have enough, we'll say, seriousness with them so that they don't fuck around and just say whatever when it's time to pay. If you treat real estate like a business, you'll get rewarded as if it was a business. But if you treat it as if it was a side business, you'll get the same result.
Yeah, that's fact.
Do you guys think you can live your life, or someone, because obviously you guys can't because you're already into it, but can someone live their whole life without owning real estate? But let's say they're really invested in stocks, crypto, like other things. But you say like...
It's possible.
So you can do it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it can be done.
I just think real estate...
Yeah, I would do real estate.
Like, are you opposed to it? Like, do you think it's a bad idea?
Like, real estate makes
what's your
network
opinion?
grows a lot faster than real estate. Like, I'll say this. Yeah,
that's the thing, and I think it's. Oh yeah, my bad. I just think like it's a bad idea because the real estate, the amount of ways you make money is just better long term. Like, let's say you're trying to retire. I have cash flow. I have appreciation going for me. And it's stocks, all you're counting on is appreciation. But let's say like you're 70, right, and you're not working no more, and the market crashes. It's like, and now you need to sell stuff or you need to borrow against your stocks to be able to live. It's like, what do you do now, right? But if I built enough real estate throughout my life, and even if the market crashes tomorrow, my cash flow is still going. People still need a place to live, right? So they're still paying. I'm still getting that cash flow. I'm still getting that money, right? And when the market is up, then I have the appreciation. I can sell it. I can borrow against it and make money that way also. So it's just a safer vehicle for long term. Like when I think retirement and like longevity, it's just a safer vehicle all around. And tax purposes too. Like one thing that people don't talk about is like you pay a lot of taxes when you're old, like especially if you're making a lot of money. But real estate is a great way to not pay that much taxes. So.
Can you speak a bit on that?
Yeah, like once you get a lot of real estate, basically all your expenses you can pretty much deduct. So in the States, it's even more advantageous, but in Canada, you don't have to pay that much taxes. Like you can have your car on your business based on real estate, and then you can have your home, like all the different things, all the repairs that you do. And when you borrow money against your equity, which is real estate is the easiest asset to do that on, you're not paying taxes on that. So if you have a property, let's say that's $1 million, and then a couple of years later it's worth $2 million, the bank will give you 80% of the $2 million. So you can get like $600,000 tax free.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it's like a tax-free loan.
Yeah, it's a tax-free loan. And if you have tenants, your tenants are paying for that loan, not you. So The
Yeah.
600,000 is in
Shout
your
to
hand. You
Burr.
can pretty much do.
Yeah, that's a
But that's
cheat
the
code
Burr
to life.
strategy. At the
That's
end of the day,
crazy.
Definitely.
I'll just say this because it's not an
Yeah.
either or. You need stocks, you need real estate, you need
Yeah.
crypto. But
Yeah.
I'll say this, especially for me, where I found out that real estate is the only place that allows you to have a business, that allows you to invest, and also allows you to have cash flow. You can have a construction company within real estate that gives you other tax advantages and gives you opportunity to be able to pay off yourself as a salary. So at the end of the day, if you don't want to touch your real estate profits, pay yourself through your company. And I'll say this: a lot of people own real estate, but they don't own their own personal homes. At the end of the day, you want to be in a position where you own more than you own less. But I think that a lot of people go heavy to one thing and don't look to diversify to different things. I'm not saying you have to be expert in everything, but having a exposure to something every single time. And like Bert said, he has we'll call it like a wholesaling business on the side too. It doesn't have to be his main business, but that supplements his actual ownership of real estate. So if you're able to think like that, real estate is the only thing that gives you advantages like that. And I'll say this: if you own real estate, the tax advantages are nice. They're nice. And if you're smart and you have children, employ your children to work for your real estate company, and then you pay your children, and that's a tax break for you.
Yeah.
That's the play.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's a real play. And then another thing that I could even add is that whenever you're trying to get like a loan to start another business, any type of business, if you have real estate, it's always looked at like, okay, you got the security. Like when I bought my first garage and we were going bank to bank to trying to finance it, the first thing they said is like, you don't have any assets, right?
Yeah.
And if you have real estate, they're like, okay, that's a good enough guarantee, and they'll pretty much land you on a lot of different things you're trying to do.
Okay.
I wanted to ask a little bit about like the actual experience of like maintaining a home or like renovating it and stuff, because I remember you used to post like in your stories, or like I've seen you post it here and there where you were like choosing like different tiles for the bathroom and stuff like that. How does that go? Because for me, honestly, the main reason why I'm like hesitant with real estate is because I'm the least handy person on the planet. Like I don't want to have to do any of that. So to me, it's like if I were to use the strategy of getting a property that's a little bit run down and like having to fix it up, to me, I'm like, I don't want to do that.
But the thing is,
how has your experience?
You don't have to.
Yeah, I guess I could pay someone.
Yeah. So all my construction, I pay someone, right? So.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay, so you don't do it yourself?
I don't do it myself ever. So what you see, like when I'm always on site, and the thing is, I love to learn, so I love to know how it's done, and I always want to know why it's done because when I hire somebody, I want to know like exactly how it works, and I want to know how much it costs. So I'm always there on site looking, and I'll help. So if you need something assembled, I'll be there and I'll assemble it myself, and I'll pass it on to my contractor, right? Or I'll help whatever he tells me to do. Like I'll be his employee for the day just to learn how he does his things. But I don't do like the whole thing myself, like the finished product. I don't do it. What I do is I select a lot of materials. And as you saw, like on my stories, if you guys follow me, like every time I do renovations, I'll ask people, what they think is better. What flooring, what color flooring, what color wall, everything, like vanities, every single thing is I run through people because most of my apartments I rent to millennials. So I don't know how many followers I have right now, but I have over, all my followers are millennials right now. So if I'm renting to y'all, having your opinion on what you think looks good is it's just simple business strategy,
No, it's true. It's a good strategy, and like I don't know. It's like it's nice to get other people's opinions because, like, I don't know. Like everyone has like it's nice to know what the general population likes,
Yeah.
But it was nice seeing those stories. But like me, I'm always like whenever I have to go to Home Depot or something for my mom, I'm like I dread the experience. I hate going. I hate tools. I hate all of that stuff. So for me, like that's the main reason why I'm like hesitant. But like you said, you can hire someone, so like that makes it a little bit better. But Charl, you do it yourself, no?
Yeah, Charles and
yeah, Charles another type of hustler.
Man,
especially in Montreal, these handymen don't know shit. I'll say that. Secondly, like Bert said, you want to know every single part of your business. Because I don't care if it's the financing, I don't care if it's the renovation. If somebody tells me we need to do this, I need to know why. I need to know how much it costs. So what I figured out is that a lot of contractors will inflate their prices for things that aren't really worth that much, So for me, if I'm able to learn the business, do the construction myself, like right now, Bert, I'm like renovating one of my duplex, or we'll call it my triplex, and I'm converting to a 4.5. So we're almost done, thankfully. But you know, it was a process of like fixing the material, doing it myself. But next time I renovate it, or if I hire someone, they can't charge me a surplus because you'll know how much it costs for this and that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that
You know what
that's
it
where
is,
comes in
yeah.
handy, 'cause a lot of
Yeah,
people,
that's smart.
like
Yeah.
especially like in a position like Sasha, if you say okay, they'll just say okay, well this is what it is. But if you know, and this is if you have a contractor, you give
Yeah.
a deposit at the beginning, you give 30% or 20% during the middle. You'll give another 20% towards the end, and then you give your final deposit
Yep.
at the end. Don't give a contractor all the money or 50% upfront. Split it in half, like as if it was a mortgage
Man,
payment.
that's
'Cause
amazing advice.
yeah,
Yeah, because me, I would get
True.
finessed. I would get
but
finessed in that
a lot of
situation
people don't,
easily.
and like that's why,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
in
that's
Montreal, you need
right.
to have the nicest finishes. You need to have the
That's smart.
latest appliances, etc. for people who don't want to pay. So if you find your situation in a situation where you don't
Yeah.
want to do any renovations, Sasha, go outside Montreal. People have low expectations. You put fresh paint, you have white appliances, and they'll be happy. They'll pay
Sounds
extra
good.
because it's new paint. I think people in Montreal, people in
Oh, yeah.
Vancouver, people in
All
Edmonton,
day.
Calgary, we got so used to these like glamorous buildings that our expectations are up here, but what we're willing to pay is down here. So that's why it
Yeah.
becomes a bit
Yeah.
tough to be a landlord sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, we said it in episode 4. Like, just renovate the bathroom and the kitchen,
Yeah,
make it
facts.
look white, and like it'll go up so much
It'll
more.
co-
Because that's literally
Yeah.
that's literally it. Whenever I go look
Yo,
at an
I'll
apartment
post
to
a story
rent, I'm like,
before and
those are the two
after
main things I look at.
of
Yep,
the bathroom that
always.
we just finished renovating, and you'll see like why none. It looked as if it was like a downtown bathroom. Yeah, yeah. Me and my
Did
dad.
you do it yourself? Like you did
Yeah.
it? You did it all yourself?
Man,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
amazing.
Yo,
I
no lie,
admire
if
that.
I work,
That's
but
fire.
at the end of the day, it's
Fire.
oh.
You should film yourself
But
doing
no
it. Like I
lie,
want to
it's
see what it
it's
takes.
probably
You
the
know?
best
Yeah.
experience. Yeah, I'll do it.
You
I'll do
actually
it. I'll do
should.
it.
Yeah,
But
you
it's the
gotta
best
post
experience
that.
because especially if you're looking to scale, understanding what your contractors go through, and like Bert said, helping out, being there for you, it makes you a better boss first off, but also it makes you relatable. Once you're
Mm-hmm.
relatable, that's when you get the discounts. That's when they refer you to other people,
Yeah.
and that's where you're able to really scale up. Because a lot of, especially in real estate, one person knows somebody else who knows somebody else who might know a building that's available. So, especially if you're able to relate to these people,
Yeah.
have conversations that really show that you're willing to get down and dirty, they'll come back to you with potential favors as well.
Yep. Exactly, man. Really good, man. And what you said about contractors, like you gave the whole plan on how not to get finessed by contractors because
Yeah,
that's
literally.
where most people will get finessed. In real estate, the contractors is probably
Yeah.
like the toughest part of the whole thing. And Charles, like if people can rewind this and like save it or somewhere, it's like you gave the whole
Yeah,
playbook on
because
how not to get finessed by contractor right there. Like the full.
But are
No choice.
contractors willing
No
to do that? I'm assuming
that's the
yes,
industry
but
standard.
Yeah.
But if
Oh,
you
they-
don't know,
okay.
Yeah.
that's the industry standard. But if you don't
Because
know,
I'm sure. Oh, really?
they'll give like a lot of people, like a lot of old people, give a $21,000
Then
check.
then you get
They'll
finessed.
cash it in,
Yeah.
and you'll never see a contractor.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't get it back because it's a check.
Yep. Yep. Your contractor just runs off money. And what people don't know is like a lot of contractors have multiple jobs and they'll use
Yeah.
your money to finish another job and let's say they're making more
That's
profit
what I
from
was
that other
thinking.
job
That's what
and
I was
stuff like
thinking.
that. So it's like, yeah, man.
It's
trust
like
me,
there's
the entire
Tinder
thing.
swindler.
Yeah, literally like the Tinder
It's the
swindler.
Tinder swindler. They're using the other bitch's
Yeah.
money to make.
Man,
That's
But,
crazy.
that's exactly what they do. All of them too.
Yeah.
Like even the good ones, that's exactly what they do. And then you give them your money, and then sometimes it's not even like they don't even have malicious intent. It's like you'll give them your money. They'll go use your money for another person's project. That other person's project will fuck up somehow, and now your money's gone,
Yeah.
and they don't have any money to buy your materials that you wanted them to buy. Right?
That's so risky. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
and that obviously they're not going to tell
Yeah.
you. So what they're going to do is that they're going to charge you more. They're going to say, "Oh, I'm missing money for this and that," and they'll ask you some more
Wow.
money, and then you're in this loop where
Yeah,
you're
that's
paying
crazy.
Yeah.
twice as much and it's taking longer and stuff like that. Like what Charles said, he gave you guys the entire playbook on how not
No,
to
because for real.
for real.
Let's run it back.
Yeah.
But that's why you have to understand literally every aspect of your business before delegating it. Because if you don't know certain things, you're
That's
going to
why-
get finessed.
Yep.
And
That's
that's
so
with,
true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
whether it's with the accounting in your business
You know,
or like any parts
I'm sure
of the
Bert will
business.
agree with it. That's
Yeah.
why you
Yeah,
have
go,
to do
Charl.
everything in-house. Like for me, like long term, you have a vertical integration. You have a construction company.
Yeah.
You have your cleaning. You have your property management, and then you have your accounting that does all the delegation. Because if you don't have it in-house, if you have it in-house,
vertically integrated.
accounting gets lost,
Yeah.
paper gets lost, and then you're out of money quick. And especially in real estate is like women. It's like it's a
Yeah.
game of money. The more money you have, the better it is for you long term. But the moment you run out of money, things fall back quickly. And once
Man,
you're down in real estate, they
Damn.
start to go back up.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly, man. Everything in house, vertically integrated business as much as possible as you grow, and just learn every aspect of your business. If you can employ people yourself to do all these things and have reliable people, and they rely on you to get paid, you rely on them to get the job done. That's the best relationship you can have. Like what I say to everybody about like life is like everything is based kind of like on interest, like on personal interest. Like if you have your interest aligned with other people's, that's when it goes the best, right? Both people walking towards the same goal is when you'll have the best things done. But if some person working around for another person and you don't know where his interests are, that's when bad stuff can happen. So
Yeah.
That sucks.
Have you guys ever had a situation where like something was damaged in one of the properties that you own and you had to like come up with like a couple $1,000s to go replace it? Like what's like a horror story that you
I'll
can
let the guys
tell
go
about
first.
that? Both of you guys, I guess.
oh man, I have
facts.
so many stories.
Oh man.
I have so many stories. I wouldn't know where to start, but like the Airbnb stuff would be like probably the craziest stuff. Like I had people on Airbnb like steal my TV.
I'm sure, bro.
Like it was stolen.
They stole your TV?
They stole the TV. They broke stuff. They broke
Yo,
the
these
couch.
people are wild, bro.
I had, the worst one is they broke a toilet. Like the actual toilet, was.
Oh my
They broke the
god.
entire thing. And
How much does that cost to replace?
it's not that expensive. It's like
Find a
maybe
plumber.
$300, something like that. But
Okay.
what's annoying about it is that you have another guest coming. So what happened with that situation was I have another, and the TV too. I had another guest coming the same day. So you go to the store, buy another one, but the toilet was terrible because it was full of shit, pretty much. Like so I was with my plumber, like taking it out, and there's like shit coming out of there, and then you have to like clean the shit in a plastic bag and stuff, and then replace the toilet. Like it was, so like horror
Fuck.
stories.
Nah, bro.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. They stole your TV.
Yeah.
But the TV, let's say the TV, it's a business expense, right? At that point?
The TV is like, an Airbnb will reimburse you for it. It's just that, you have to go and buy a new one, and then Airbnb reimburses you a couple weeks later. But it's just...
Oh, you reimbursed too?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You have insurance with Airbnb.
Wow, that's crazy. Does it automatically come with it?
Yeah. As soon as you're Airbnb host, you have insurance. So you just make sure
That's
you
fire.
document everything. You keep a receipt of everything you buy. And then when stuff happens, you just take a picture of the stuff, you replace it, and then you just send the bill to Airbnb, and then...
They reimburse you fully?
Yeah, there's a process. They'll ask you for
That's
receipts
crazy.
and stuff, and then they'll reimburse you.
Yeah.
Probably sometimes
Oh,
even
shit.
more than what the actual item costs, just for the damage and penalties and stuff like that. So you probably get even a little bit more money than what was actually spent.
Gem, I didn't know that.
Yo.
But my horror story,
That's
like
crazy.
Birds have many, but the key lesson in all this is that in real estate, if you don't have cash reserves, you ain't no business. So get you a mortgage broker if you are able to negotiate a line of credit, if you're able to negotiate a HELOC, things that will at least save you headaches. But if you're able to at least save 30 to 40% for a rainy day. So for me, kitchen on fire, chimney bricks about to fall off.
But it's cool, bro. I saw one of the pods you guys did, and I saw you going off in the relationship and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm on the same type of time. I'm on Twitter going off about the same shit.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, fuck that. They need to hear the truth.
Yeah, they really do.
Let me hear a rant, Bird.
A rap?
No,
A rant?
a rant.
Rant of the
rap.
day.
Yeah,
I was
rap.
like, he's gonna freestyle for us.
Oh man, I heard a rap too. I was like, man,
Nah.
Like, what is this podcast turning into?
yeah,
Fact. Because especially last week, we spoke about like people to stay away from when you try to level up. So
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
yeah. So what would be the people or the personality traits you try to avoid at all times throughout your
man.
journey?
Yo, there's so many. Seriously,
We live-
you gotta avoid like 85% of people, maybe 90% of people.
That's facts, dude.
Wow.
That's facts.
Bro, all the negative people, all the people who trying to get you outside for no reason all the time, like people wasting time, all the people who have no definite goals in their life. There's a bunch of people who are like the jealous people, the envious people are the worst.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
Talked
because
about
it's
that.
like, yo, they'll be your friend, they'll be close to you, but then they'll kind of drag you down with them into misery and shit. Like, you don't want that. 'Cause if you don't know
Yeah.
they're snakes, then they pull you into stuff you don't want to be into.
Yeah.
Man, and then for men, like, yo, women, men have to be super careful with women, bro, out there. Cause,
Facts.
bro, it's a wild world out there these days. Shit is wild. out
Let's
there,
go,
bro. Fuck.
yo. Cause I know Bird no filter.
Yo,
I
all
fuck with
crazy.
people like
Yeah,
that.
for real, literally.
day. It's like women are going crazy, and the thing is, like, you have to understand, it's like your goals are like once you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, the women will come, but the women will
Facts.
literally be like the bâton dans des roues. Like they'll slow you down so much.
A lot of women will do that, and then there's some women that'll help, and those are the ones
Exactly.
that you need.
That's the one that get wiped up.
Yep,
Facts.
those are the ones that get wiped up, and those are the ones who deserve. I had a tweet one day that said, "Ride or dies are the only ones who deserve a ring. Everybody else is like,
Facts.
it's like y'all just slowing everybody down. Like nobody needs that for real."
Yeah.
Fuck to them hoes. Nah, but
yo, that's the gem of the episode because I've been in, hold on. I've been in situations where your goals don't align long term, and you try to make it work, but it only slows you down compared to when you're with a person who wants to help you out.
Man.
Every situation scale a lot faster, and the results are there. Like my life since COVID and my life before COVID, bro, two different people. So
But-
what
Me
you say
too.
is on point.
But like you said, it's like 80%, 90% of the people you have to avoid. That's why it makes it so hard to find like-minded people that you actually click and fuck with.
Yeah.
It's so true. Life is so lonely. Like, it's really
it
lonely.
literally is. Like,
It really is.
yeah,
It really is.
you have to like settle for the relationships. That,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, but once you find those people, then it's good. Like it's motivating.
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to do networking events. Like we're trying to do
Yo.
that now.
Yeah. That's
Yo, Big up, pull up. If we do a networking event next
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
Yeah,
this summer,
100%.
for sure. I'm
you gotta pull
coming
up.
through. I'm coming through.
100%. Did we want to do the questions of the people now, or I'm sure
Yeah, I
we've
think,
answered so many of them, but let's
No,
see.
I
If,
Yeah.
honestly, I think I answered most of like I already asked him most of the ones that I had got. Let me see if there are any more. Oh, it was like, yeah, do you renovate your own properties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Charles, did you get any other questions?
I just had one question. It was specifically contained to Airbnb, and where is the places to go to furnish your units? That's the primary question I got. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's a good question. I did a video on that recently too. Like for me, all the hard stuff, like all the hard surface stuff, tables, TVs and stuff. It's like I'm getting everything used, like Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, Craigslist, whatever you're into. And then everything that's like soft, like couches and mattresses, then I get brand new. Obviously, like you want to be clean for sure. And that's basically how I do it. Like I try to find really cool stuff. I'm always looking out like on Marketplace, and there's a lot of people like, especially if you're starting in July, like around July when people are moving, like you'll find like super amazing deals on a bunch of furniture.
It's so
IKEA?
true because everyone's trying to get rid of their stuff, like
Yeah.
for moving.
I had prices on stuff like you say I'm pulling up right now with the truck. They'll pretty much give you.
Yeah, they're like,
everything they
yes,
got for,
take it.
$200.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
I don't know why I was expecting IKEA, because I feel like a lot of
thought so too.
Airbnbs
Oh,
are
yeah,
furnished
love
by
IKEA.
IKEA.
Love IKEA.
Yeah?
For mattresses too. Like IKEA has really good mattresses. IKEA is so underrated.
Oh yeah.
It really is.
Pillows,
Oh, yeah?
mattresses, like 300 mattress at IKEA. I can't remember the specific name of it. It's like fire. People love it. And it's like they think it's expensive. Like you can be even fancier and add like they have those layers of like you know the smart stuff that like grabs your
Yeah.
position and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you buy the $300 mattress with the soft pad on top, and people think it's like a $2,000 mattress. Like, yo,
Damn.
IKEA got the stuff.
Gem.
Yeah.
Damn,
And
IKEA.
I'll ask a personal question because that's for me when I think about Airbnb, like how I want to be different is that I want to have a themed Airbnb. So when you think of the concept, you see a lot in Atlanta, you see a lot in Miami of having like specifically themed Airbnb compared to your traditional basic Airbnbs.
I haven't done it yet, but themes work really well. They work really well, especially if you're like in a specific location like Miami or like let's say you have like somewhere outside in the country. Like having a theme is like super good. People want to escape their daily lives, and if you have like a really nice theme that kind of like you know they fuck with, then you're gonna get booked a lot.
Can you give an example of a theme? Like what kind of theme are we talking?
I saw one that was like a blue ocean, so the whole Airbnb was all blue.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Blue Oceans, like people have like 80s Airbnb, like when they style the whole thing, like
Oh, that's
80s,
fire.
or like, you know, it's a bunch. There
Yeah.
was a show on Netflix about that too. Like people were actually building Airbnbs and they had like themes.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was fire.
I swear we watched that.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that, and they were like making them themed to certain things.
Yeah,
I remember
Send it
that.
over.
there was old school.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was one guy who had like everything old school, like you know, the old Coca-Cola bottles, like the old machine, like you know,
Yeah.
like kind of like
Oh.
a deli, the old seats with like you know the red seats, like kind of like in the deli vibe, like in the kitchen. Like
Yeah.
the music players, you know, like the old school music players when you put like a quarter and it plays music and stuff. Like he had all of that in the spot, and it's like it's fire. It's like an experience.
That's fire.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's like South Beach where they have so many Airbnbs in South Beach where they're like super beach, like it's super beachy
Yeah,
vibes.
beachy.
Like yeah, they're all like that there. But honestly, like I don't like those Airbnbs. Like I really hate those ones. Like I don't know, but I think yeah, they're so no, but like I just find that they're like me. I really like a super luxurious style
Yeah.
for like hotel style, you know.
But
So
you
I think it has to
bougie.
like
No count.
yeah,
Yeah,
facts,
bougie.
facts.
Yeah, we're bougie.
I guess it will like the person has to want like that type of theme, you
Yeah,
know. But
I think
Yeah,
it's
not
like,
everyone wants
based
that.
on location. It's the best. Like you know, if you fit it to your location, like if you're in New York, you make it like super luxurious hotel style. Like if you're in the country, you make it more
Yeah.
country, and then you get
true, it's like a chalet that's like up north. That's very like chalet vibes.
like
Yeah, it's
woodsy,
true.
you know, like that's what you're looking for
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
chalet. So
But I feel like unless a theme is really well done, then you would have to change it probably like maybe once a year or something, no? Or no?
No, I guess they could
Not even-
keep it the
Nah,
same.
yeah, you can keep it the same, or you can have like change
Really?
a couple details here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, because they all depend on where you locate. Because like Bert said, if you're in a big city like Miami,
Yeah.
there's always new people coming in from Spain, from Europe,
Yeah,
from
Nice, nice.
Canada. So for them, it's a brand new time.
That's
Meet them and
true.
they'll look
Yeah.
at something different.
Yeah.
That's true,
And-
that's true.
My follow-up question, my favorite question for a real estate host or guest, I guess, is your top 5 areas in Montreal to buy. So if you were a brand new
Hey,
real estate investor looking for a banker for your buck, what would you look to buy in Montreal?
man, that's a good
Or
question. I don't
like
even
in
know.
the GMA.
I don't even know if I have 5 because I'm so concentrated. But yeah, I could probably
Do
probably
three,
five.
if
So,
you can do 3.
yeah,
Yeah, do at least 3.
I'll try to do 3. I might get to 5, but like Ushlag is like number 1 for me personally.
Let's go.
Rosemont is really good. I like Rosemont. There's a lot of things happening there. I like also Point Saint Charles. It's like I think it's really good. Like very central, close to the canal, which is really nice.
It's becoming the new Griffintown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
The extension.
yeah.
Everyone's pissed.
That's the thing. And then like one of my first strategies that I was using is that when you see a neighborhood that's like super hot, right next to a neighborhood that's not that hot, the hotness of that neighborhood is going to expand over to the neighborhood that's
Yeah.
not that great.
Yeah.
Like
It's so true.
when I first bought into Rosemont, it wasn't that cool, but the plateau was so hot at that time that like when plateau became unaffordable, everybody kind of like moved east to Rosemont. And
Yeah, they branched out a little bit.
and then
Yeah.
Rosemont went up, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like seeing those things will give you a really good idea of like what's coming up next. So Ushlag,
Yeah.
Rosemont, Point Saint Charles is really good. I would say that's my top 3 for sure. And then you can get into some longer term stuff like Montreal North. Like I think over the next 10 years is pretty much gonna see some good appreciation.
Of course, of course.
Like
Yo.
I think
it's
so,
like
yeah.
a longer
We're
term.
already at a milli. We're
Yeah.
already at a milli. People are sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you have a longer time horizon, then you can get into those places like Montreal North is going to be like a, because the thing is like for me also what I look at is affordability. So you want to look at all the spaces in the city that are a little bit cheaper, but that are still close to things like people want to get to, schools, downtown,
Yeah.
whatever. And then you want to be in those areas because when people can no longer afford like $2,000 rent in Griffin or $2,000 rent on Le Plateau, those are the areas that they're going to move to.
Yeah.
And that's when all the value is going to go up in those neighborhoods. You know, that's always how it
No, and-
goes.
And Bird said something bellissima. He said, when the neighborhood's hot, go to the next one next door.
Yeah.
It's like if a girl's hot, go to a hot cousin.
Yeah.
He said Montreal North. What's next to Montreal North? You have St. Leonard
Yep.
and you have Antic.
Yep.
And I'll say this. A lot of big firms from Toronto, from Montreal are buying single family homes and are building condos in Montreal North.
Man,
You would be stupid.
bro.
I say all caps, stupid not to buy, knowing that information.
But it's fact.
And
Montreal
it's
North
under
has
600,
so much construction right now. Montreal North
Yep.
is people are not seeing it because people don't go to Montreal North. But man,
Yeah.
I used to go to school in Montreal North when I was a kid, and the thing is nothing like it used to be for real, for real. So people-
Yeah, it has honestly, it has a really bad reputation.
Yeah,
So like I think that's why a lot of people don't think that it has the potential, you
but
know?
that's the thing.
That's what
People
money
people have to be contrarian because the bad reputation
Yeah.
is the best thing. It's like that's what's
Exactly.
keeping the value down. And when everything changes, when the reputation is going to be good, the people who bought early already made the money. It's like if you're waiting for the
Yeah.
reputation to get good to get in there, you're going to be too late.
You
It's
lost
too
out.
late.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yeah.
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 You know, and like Bird mentioned Rosemont, Bird mentioned Montreal East, Hochelaga, and Griffintown. 20 years ago, those were all drug-infested neighborhoods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Prostitution, you
Yeah.
had drugs. So, like
Yeah.
you said, if you are able to wait 10 years, even, I'll say less than 10 years, because the way that Montreal is so much more affordable compared to other places in Canada, it's probably going to be 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, it's
So
moving.
if you're able to wait 5 to 7 years, less than 10 years, you basically double your money.
Yep,
You know, so
pretty much. And yeah, that's
Oh.
really, really good advice. All these areas, Griffintown, people have to see what Griffintown was 20 years ago, and they won't. believe
Yeah, like it wasn't there, no?
It
Like
was-
I
it was
really think it
industrial
wasn't there.
buildings. It was
industrial.
horses in there.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like nothing to do with what it is today.
Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ushlag too. Like
And
people are looking at Ushlag where the stadium is. There used to be crackheads. I mean, there still is a little bit
Yeah.
of crackheads, prostitute on the street. Like,
Yeah.
It used to be crazy, but now, like, I can rent a 3.5, like 500 square foot for 1,000 or 1,100.
Yeah, it's much nicer now. Like I never went back in, like I never
Damn.
went there back in the day, but it's much nicer now.
Oh yeah,
There's a feature on Google Maps where you're able to go back in time.
yeah.
Really?
Go to a neighborhood.
Man, you know all the
And, like,
Holy
look at-
shit.
I do
That's
that.
fine.
Okay, that's all you have to do then. Just
Yeah.
go check how it
Oh.
used to look.
Go check just 5 years ago how bad it was, and then you look at
That's crazy.
yeah.
What
Well,
do
you
you
know
think
what's crazy?
of,
Like Griffintown. So Griffintown, whenever it was developed, I don't know, but next to it is like Little Burgundy, which is like near like I don't know if you guys know that area.
Yeah.
Then after that is St. Henry, and those two areas have already become these like bougie spots that everyone's going
Yeah.
to. And that was the like because I went to high school around there, and that's where like all of the broke kids were
That's the
coming
ghetto.
from. You know, that was literally the hood.
This-
Yeah,
the
and
ghetto.
now it's like, and now that's why Point St. Charles is the one right after St. Henry.
Yeah.
So now it's moving, it's going that far. I can't even believe it. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
St. Henry was so hood when I was in high school. Like I remember we had
Yeah, me
team
too.
there, and like we went into the gym and the kids were like, "Yo, if you guys win, we're beating y'all up at the end of the game." I was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" It was terrible back then, bro. And that was like
What the fuck?
2008, 2009. Now it's
Yeah.
literally like the hottest area in Montreal. Like
Yeah, and you know,
Yeah,
like
it's
all of
crazy.
like everyone from Westmount, like girls that are like grew up in Westmount, like rich girls, they're all moving to St. Henry, and
Yeah.
like it's like that's the new bougie spot, and
Yeah.
I'm like that is so hard to comprehend. Like it makes zero sense.
it's
crazy.
But that's the thing. It's like affordability. That's affordability and like proximity to hot neighborhoods. You're right
the
next to
proximity?
downtown.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Right next to the canal. You're close to the old port. And then when something is like well located and affordable at the same time, it's like everybody
Yeah.
will flock there. And then it
It's
starts
gonna
with the
find its
business,
way. Yeah.
So true.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you walk up the hill and you're in Westmount basically.
Yeah.
Like if from
Yeah.
St. Henry you walk up the hill, you're in Westmount. So
Yeah.
that's why it's
But you
crazy.
see, people have to use that same strategy and think and look outside Montreal.
Yep. So,
Looking,
Yeah, because who would have thought that St. Henry would be like it is now?
Yeah.
So you have to. It's true. You have to look outside of Montreal.
yeah.
because even if you look at, let's say, somewhere in Quebec, use that same strategy. Where is everything located to central Quebec City? Look for the hubs. Look for close transportation. Look for banks so you can get your money. Look for grocery stores and nearby schools. People, school.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
If
said
you
that
have
last
a-
time. Yeah.
If you have a school or a high school, you will always find tenants.
Yeah,
I don't
Facts.
care if they are poor, if they are rich, you will always find tenants.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
if you are able to be between a 5 to 10 minute walk away from an elementary school or high school, you secure yourself a good location for everything.
Yeah, and another thing too is that I didn't say in my thesis. It's like metro. Now I try to get all my buildings within walking distance of a metro station because
That's right.
millennials are the ones spending the most. Will rent most likely to rent your spot is probably millennial, and a lot of us don't have cars. A lot of us, using Uber and stuff like that. It's like you have a metro station right next to you. It makes a world of difference.
It's so true. Before I got a car, like everywhere I moved, it was always like it has to be at least 5 to 10 minutes from a metro. Like that was
Yeah.
the 100% the requirement. You know.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And what do you think of Brossard? Because I know you don't invest in places that you said are already popping, or do you have any places there?
What do you mean? Where?
Like, do you have any property in Brossard?
No, I don't have anything outside of Montreal.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
have
okay.
anything
okay.
like suburbs and stuff like. But those are good areas to invest in. I know it got super hot during COVID, especially now that
Yeah,
people
it's
don't have
super
to
hot
go to the
right now.
office. It's like
Mhm.
people should
Yeah.
look into that. But my knowledge is so deep in like the areas that I'm in right now and it's like when you first get started, you kind of need to go in those more affordable markets
Yeah.
and find the deals. But now that I'm a little bit further in my journey, I'm able to really go into those areas that I want because I have enough equity and stuff to
Yeah.
focus there.
That's fire. Have you ever run into issues with tenants making payments
Yeah.
where you had to step in and make payments?
Yeah, it happens. Tenants not being able to pay or like arrangements, stuff like that. Like it happens. And what I try to do is always stay out of court, for sure, because it just takes too long.
Oh, yeah.
And for
Yeah,
me,
it's such
the
a
thing is like
disaster.
I have the buildings it's multiple tenants. So if one tenant starts paying, I'm still able to pay my bills most of the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But it doesn't make a big. It's not like a huge impact for me. Like what I try to do when it happens is I try to, I avoid court. I try to put them on a payment schedule, and then if they want to leave and have another place to stay, then I'll be like, hey, you can break your lease at any time. Like I'm not the person who's gonna be able to I'm not the person who's gonna force you to stay and then pay me and stuff. It's like, oh, you're not able to pay, and you have somewhere else you want to go. Like
Yeah. Just find another tenant.
yeah.
Right.
Just pay me
It costs less.
and then leave. We don't need to go to court.
Have you ever had to take someone to court?
Yeah. I mean, I don't do it often. I'm not the court person at all. I just trying to avoid them. But like people took me to court for stuff.
Oh,
Like,
no
Oh, yeah.
way.
Those little things that happen,
Yeah.
whatever. But it's never a big deal.
Yeah.
Like some tenants are like very annoying on things. Yeah, they're trying to get
Yeah.
like rent reductions. Like in Montreal, the trend is like know
Really?
something happens in your apartment and you make it like super crazy so you can get like a rent reduction.
Wow, I
Yeah.
never heard of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yo.
People-
Oh my.
Some people know the whole guidelines.
Oh yeah, they
On
know
the-
everything. I
Yeah.
heard horror stories on that. Like, like let's say I was doing renovations in one of my apartments, and then somebody took me to court because they were like, "Oh, the renovations are being noisy." But the funny thing is that the guy who took me to court, it was two tenants. So one of my tenants is a lawyer, and the other one is the guy who wanted to take me to court. And the lawyer represented the other tenant. So they were
No
two against
way.
me. Yeah,
Bruh.
nuts. And then, but the funny thing is, it's like the tenant that took me to court is a plumber, and he actually wanted to bid to do the renovations upstairs. And then he went to court saying that he didn't know there was going to be renovations. It was going to take that long. And I have all your messages. You saying that you wanted to work
What the
on
fuck?
site.
Yeah.
Like so.
How's he dumb as
Yeah.
fuck and he's a lawyer?
Yeah,
What the
fact.
fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, that was the plumber.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
plumber.
Yeah,
it was the
plumber.
other.
That was the
Oh, it's the
plumber.
plumber, the plumber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, honestly, like a lot of people say the worst part of like being a landlord is having to deal with tenants.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, but real estate is customer service, man. The more, like Bert said, the less headaches
yeah,
you could give your tenants, the less headaches they'll give you.
Oh, it's
I
cutting
mean,
off.
yeah,
technically, but at the end of the day, if you're just able to, sometimes the people who look fucked up are the people who got pay that that rent on time. They're gonna be the best tenant. The people who look professional and they have a nice to
yeah. You
nine to
never know.
five,
Yeah,
they'll be the ones causing the most headaches. So real estate is a game of gamble, but it's also like I tell people, follow your gut.
yeah,
That's
and then
that's the thing.
yeah, vetting the tenants is the most important thing. Like if you vet really well, like now you can go on the website and see like who had complaints in other apartments before.
Yeah,
Like check that out for sure, and that will give you like people who cause problems. Like they cause problems other places. They'll never come to
Yeah,
you and be like, "Well, it's my first problem I'm causing." Like they have a
Yeah,
history. A lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
these people,
facts.
so it's like that weeds out a lot of the people. And then after that, like most of the time, you'll be fine. Like if you really do your due diligence on folks, go check their Facebook. Like there's so many ways now to see what people are up to.
damn, they check your
facts.
Facebook. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yo, no
yeah,
choice.
check everything.
You would do that
Do your
though.
do your
Yeah,
homework because the thing is like you have to be aware. It's like Montreal and even New York and stuff like that in LA. It's like those places are very tenant friendly. So like when it's time, like if you have a bad tenant, these people can really milk the law to stay there as long as possible without paying you. So you want to make
mm-hmm.
sure that you're like very, very, very like diligent when it comes to taking tenants. Like there's
Yeah,
places in the south like Florida and Atlanta, it's like in 30 days they're out of there. But in
Yeah.
Montreal, like they can stay for 6 months without paying you. So you want to make sure you do your homework.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever take people who have pets? Like, are you against renting to people with pets?
I
Look
used
at
to
Charl.
not do it.
We'll do them things.
Yeah,
Damn.
I used to not do it, rent to people with pets, but one way, if you have like an apartment that's a little bit harder to rent or you're having trouble, like accept pets and people will pay you way more if you accept their pets because there's so
But
many
it's true.
people that
It's
will
so
take.
true.
I think now
Yeah.
it's so part of like everyone's lives that it's like a mandatory thing. Like, oh, if my pets can't go, then I can't
Yeah,
go.
why would I go? And
Yeah,
it's
people will
there's
not
more
rent.
pets than children apparently in America. There's more pet
Literally, yeah.
children, so like
Literally,
you
yeah.
have to start letting them bring their pets.
Yeah. It's like now because now there's so much demand for the apartments that sometimes I'll do it.
Yeah.
When I need like I know that I can
Very
make a little bit more like taking your pet or if an apartment is a little bit
Yeah.
hard and for a reason or another, like maybe it's not renovated, then I'll take a pet. Like I probably have two tenants right now that have pets like cats. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess
Well,
yeah.
honestly, like as
'cause
long as the person is clean, like there's no reason that their pet should cause any problems. But it's the people that are not clean that don't take care of it. Like for
Yeah.
example, me and Chris, we
Did
saw
we
like
talk
a
about
condo.
this? We didn't talk
No,
about this.
I'm about to tell them we saw a
Okay.
condo. And the guy's like, it was a real estate agent. He's like, yeah, like just letting you know it's a bit dirty because they had a dog. We go into the apartment, like, and it's a nice condo. It's like it was a maybe
It's a
not too
nice
like
ass building. Like the building is actually really clean.
it's a new
nice.
building.
Yeah.
It was a new condo in Laval, and we literally like I was afraid to touch the door handles because of
Oh my
how
god.
disgusting it was.
Bro, I don't know what the fuck was going on in there, what he was doing with his pet, bro. But there was like shit on the wall,
There was
hair
like
on the
see,
floor.
the walls
that's
were
what we're not gonna
brown.
do.
Yo, it was
No, but also
crazy,
they
bro.
had we could see in one of the rooms that they had kids as well because you could see that it was like a kids room. So I don't know if it was the pet or the kid or
Both
regardless, the
combination.
responsibility is the parent to keep their child and their pet clean, but it was
Facts.
the most disgusting thing I've ever
Yo, it
seen.
was nasty,
Oh
bro.
my.
I literally was not
crazy.
touching anything. I was like, I'm not touching any door handles. Like, it's not an option. Like, it was so
That's
disgusting.
crazy.
It was the contrast of walking through the nice corridor, like everything is nice as fuck.
Yeah, it
and
was
then
really
you,
nice building. We walk in, we're like,
yeah,
like what the fuck? It was crazy. It was disgusting. I couldn't believe my
Yeah.
eyes.
Oh my
yeah, yeah,
god.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's nuts. So yeah, pets is you gotta be careful.
Nah, bro, because I'll just say this, especially for landlords, is 1,200 worth all the cleaning and the renovation you're gonna do for having a fucking cat. Like I have a tenant who has a cat, but that cat is like Garfield, doesn't move, you know. But the
Yeah.
rest,
No, but
like
I
a dog.
I find cats are not that dirty in my
No,
in my
cats are
experience.
chill.
Cats are pretty clean,
Yeah,
so that's
but
good. But the
dogs,
thing with cats is that if they pee outside of their litter, then
Oh
you have
yeah,
to
then
pretty much
it's
change
It's
it.
gonna ruin it. Yeah, it's gonna ruin
yeah,
the floors and everything. Yeah.
Like acidic, you have to change it. But dogs, man, and the thing with dogs also is the noise. Like when they're yapping and stuff.
excited doing this. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's the thing also with dogs, and they eat
Fuck that
stuff.
shit, man. Fuck that shit, bro.
it has to be worth it for sure. Like if you're taking a tenant with a pet, charge accordingly, and it's worth it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bro, by the way, earlier you said you do you make videos. Were you talking about Instagram or do you have a YouTube or?
No, it's all Instagram. So I have like
Oh,
Instagram
okay.
reels. Like I started doing content and stuff.
Nice,
So
nice. You have
Yeah,
to, Charl,
keep
you have
going,
to,
keep
Charl, you have to
going.
get
Yeah,
on that
fucking
too.
fire.
Yeah.
to get on that.
thanks. I'll try to drop this week again. So every week I try to drop like 2-3 per week. So
Yeah, facts. Did Sasha, did you have any other questions for him? Like
No,
of
that was it.
No,
That
we
was
good.
pretty much all the questions I had asked them.
yeah, that's dope.
Cool. I
No,
think
jam
this.
packed, bro.
Yeah, no, this
Bird
was
dropped
a
81.
facts.
Yeah.
For our first guest, it was a great episode for real.
Yeah, for real.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, for sure. So tell the people where they can follow you, because I don't think it's gonna like be in the edit of the previous things we have to edit out. So just tell the people where to
Yeah,
follow you.
for sure. You can definitely follow me on Bird Real Estate. Bird Real Estate everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. It's Bird Real Estate. So yeah.
Facts. Well, guys, thank you for watching the 14th episode of the Untold Gems podcast. Our very first guest. We're looking to have guests, maybe not weekly, but as often as we can. So yeah, expect more of interesting, like-minded people to come talk to us, and we will see you guys next week.